Welcome to Localization News You Can Use, your daily dose of localization know-how. Okay, so this is the big one. The question on everyone's mind. Is AI going to put human translators out of a job? And look, it's easy to jump to a simple yes or no, but the real answer, well, it's way more interesting and a whole lot more complex than that. So here's how we're going to break it down. First, we'll paint a picture of this new localization landscape. Then we'll explore this wild idea of human translation becoming a luxury good. After that, it's reality check time. We'll look at it from the buyer side. And finally, we'll talk about the slow, steady path to actually getting all this cool AI tech adopted. Let's jump in. So what does this AI-powered future really look like? Well, the vision that's taking shape isn't just about AI taking over. It's more like a complete reorganization of the entire industry. The best way to think about it is like a classic bell curve. The industry is probably going to split into 3 different zones. Most of the work is going to fall right there in the middle, but the really game-changing stuff happens at the 2 ends, the 2 extremes. Let's start with that big piece in the center, that chunky part in the middle. People are starting to call it pop localization. Just think of it like pop music. It's for the masses. This is where AI runs the show, automating and orchestrating the huge volume of translation needs. The result is good enough quality that gets the job done, super fast and cost-effective. This is where AI's scale and efficiency really shine. But here's where it gets really fascinating, the 2 tails of the curve. At the bottom end, you've got the folks who just use AI mindlessly, churning out cheap, tone-deaf junk. The prediction? They're going to fail, because people will just reject that low-quality stuff. But on the high end, the exact opposite happens. This is where the niche human specialists absolutely prosper, delivering incredible value that, you guessed it, commands a premium price. And that right there, that high end, is the key for human professionals. It's not about trying to beat AI at its own game of volume. No way. It's about elevating your role to a totally different level of value. So let's dig into what that evolution actually looks like. I love this quote because it just nails it. For human linguists, this whole AI revolution isn't an extinction event. Not at all. It's really a massive catalyst for transformation. It's forcing a shift in skills, a new focus on that high-value luxury end of the market. Okay, so this brings up a pretty logical question, right? If all the everyday work gets automated and humans have to become these super specialized experts, are we going to have a shortage of them? And the answer? Well, it's probably not what you'd expect. The general thinking is no. We won't run out of linguists. Actually, we might even see a surplus because automation is going to handle so much of that mass market work. The real challenge isn't going to be finding a job. It's going to be adapting to find the right kind of job. So what do these new jobs even look like? Well, linguists who are doing mass market tasks today are going to have to evolve. We're talking about moving into bigger content roles like creation and transcreation, or becoming the experts who guide and support the AI systems. Or maybe they become those high-level reviewers, the ones who add that perfect cultural nuance for those top-tier luxury projects. It's a huge shift from just doing the work to directing the outcome. Okay, so that's the grand vision, a super efficient AI-driven middle market and this thriving, human-led luxury tier. Sounds great, but if the tech is so good, why aren't we living in this world already? To figure that out, we have to flip the coin and look at this whole thing from the buyer's perspective. The problem, in a nutshell, can be summed up with this great phrase, a surplus of innovation. The industry is just buzzing. It's electric with new ideas and tools. But there's a huge bottleneck. The buyers, the actual companies that need this stuff, just can't consume and implement it as fast as it's being created. And I mean, the scale of this is wild. We're not talking about a few new apps here. We're talking about thousands of new AI-powered tools and platforms all flooding the market at once. It's exciting for sure, but for the companies trying to make sense of it all, it's completely overwhelming. See, on the buyer side, you can't just click download on a new piece of tech. Any new tool has to run what you could call the corporate gauntlet. It's got to get through legal. It needs risk and budget sign-offs. You have to get buy-in from a dozen different stakeholders, and then you have to fight for the money and people to actually implement it. Every single one of those steps takes time, a lot of time. And here's some really important perspective. If you're a localization manager inside a big company, your amazing AI project, it's just one of dozens of moving parts. You're competing for attention, for budget, for resources, against literally every other department's big idea. That internal reality is a huge reason why adoption moves at a crawl, even when the external hype is at a full sprint. So this is the big challenge, right? How do you connect this super fast AI innovation with the slow reality of a big company? Well, our last section here is all about the practical way to move forward. At the end of the day, the problem is a fundamental mismatch of speed. Technology is evolving way, way faster than the businesses that are supposed to be using it. So, knowing that, the answer isn't to try and force some massive company wide change overnight. That's a recipe for disaster. The smartest, most effective path forward is gradual implementation. Start small. Run pilot programs. Test a new tool on a limited scale. Measure the actual impact and use that real data to build a rock solid business case. That's how you win over stakeholders and get the bigger budget. And this brings us to one last thought to leave you with. This whole dynamic, this clash between rapid innovation and corporate reality, it isn't just happening in localization. It's happening everywhere, in almost every industry. So the real question for you is this: is your field adapting fast enough? Thank you for listening to this episode of Localization News You Can Use, your daily dose of localization know-how.